Hello everybody, it's TMOG 217. Welcome to a LEGO Back to the Future set review. Taking a look at set number 10300, Back to the Future Time Machine. This is under the Creator Expert line of LEGO themes for sets, and released in April 1st of 2022, and contains 1,872 pieces, as well as 2 exclusive just to this set minifigures. Taking a look at the special plaque that's included with this set, you have a nice little stickered thing that says Back to the Future with the logo, as well as the time machine right there, and just is simply called Time Machine, and just gives a lot of info on the specifics on the time machine itself. And you can also have enough room to fit the 2 exclusive minifigures in this set. It looks very much accurate in terms of their appearance in Back to the Future 2. They do have double-sided facial expressions. Doc Brown is the only one who has an exclusive facial print. I do believe Marty is just reusing a different facial feature from a different minifigure that's already been used. My biggest complaint with these 2 figures, or just the one figure of Marty McFly, is the leg printing. I think it would have been really beneficial if he would have had dual molded legs, and then they just printed on top of that. Probably would have helped with that big blue cap. And I think, really, they should have included the printed tile of the almanac, the sports almanac. I feel like that's such an iconic thing from Back to the Future 2, and I think that's something that LEGO really dropped the ball on in terms of not including it. Anyway, not much else to say about the stand or the minifigures, so let's have a look at the time machine itself. So here we have the Delorean in its first movie appearance. You do have the option to switch between the different versions it appears as in the 3 different movies, but I figured we'd start off with the first movie look. Honestly, looks fairly accurate. I think my biggest issue with the look of this, honestly, is the color scheme. Honestly, this is not a light gray car. It's a metallic, titanium-looking metal-like finish to the car, and I feel LEGO cheaped out on the coloring of this for the set. But let's be honest, we all can fix that issue with the color thing. I will give LEGO some props, though, for trying to at least have the bumpers and the side of the car with some metallic pieces. I feel like if they probably went all in with all metallic pieces, it would have jacked up the price of the set a lot more, and let's be honest, this is already a quite expensive vehicle. But besides the coloring issue, it looks amazing with the look of it. Definitely resembles that of the Back to the Future DeLorean that we all know and love. I think in terms of features, it has a lot of cool amount of them, but before we get into those, I just thought we'd point out the cool little antenna that you can attach that's easily built using the Bo Peep staff in black, and then some Technic pieces right there, and that just connects to a little thing at the back here that you can easily just pop off, and then just, I guess, chuck to the side, I guess, and then essentially you have the Back to the Future 1 car look pre or post 1955 time travel. Looks really good, really good. At the back, it has some nice details for the engine that is made. Lots of tubing LEGO pieces used there. You even have a stickered license plate. Out of time is that right there, and that's a fun little thing, but it is quite a hassle to get in there in terms of changing up the license plate to get it look like the second movie, but we'll have a look at that in just a bit. This does have a little button at the back, and if you press it down, you can see something lights up. Well, if you want to know what that thing lights up, you gotta first open the door, which opens oh so nice. I will give props to LEGO again, because this looks almost seamless, like it doesn't even open up to begin with. However, the big issue with this door, though, in my opinion, is that gravity is your enemy with this. It doesn't want to stay up on its own for very long, and it just pops down on its own. But keeping this very much supported and open, and then zooming in a bit, you can see a little bit of the details inside the vehicle. You got a nice little printed tile on this side. You got the steering wheel, along with some dash cam pieces, which we'll have a look at in just a second here. But again, going back to that button, if you look at the front here and press it, boom, it's the flux capacitor. And removing all of the windshield pieces and whatnot, we're able to get a better look at the detailed interior of the vehicle. Underneath the steering wheel, you do have that little speed gauge right there, which is a little bit hard to see, but you can move it up a bit to see a little bit better. You do have the time circuits that do have all of the famous dates from the first movie, or at least the first time the vehicle time travels. And then you have another dashboard piece right there for the plutonium, and then flipping it around you can see the stickered tile of the flux capacitor, and that's a very nice sticker. I kind of misplaced it a little bit, so it isn't fully lined up bad on me, but it does use that light brick to kind of light it up and give it that little time circuits on look to it. So that's pretty cool. So the one other play feature, or just a little Easter egg with this set, is if you flip this up using your nails, you can flip this up, and you can see that there's two little brick-built items. The first item is a brick-built hoverboard that is using a stickered element. Thing that's worth mentioning is they didn't include the Mattel logo for licensing issues, I assume. I don't think this is accurate at all in terms of this. I think the one thing that can make it 100% accurate for this brick-built model is if you add a double cheese slope in pink at the back here with some modifications. But again, this is a Lego set made by Lego. It shouldn't need to be modified again, but that just sits on a little jumper that's right in there. That just connects right like so. And then the other item that you can detach is the plutonium case. These use a handful of stickers to make up the case, and then it just flips open to show the plutonium vials. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, nothing much else to say regarding the first movie version of this vehicle, so let's upgrade it into the second movie appearance. So one of the cool factors regarding this set is if you flip to the end of the instructions, it gives you the option to choose how you want to build the Delorean. It just simply tells you what page to go to in order to build whatever preferred model you want for display. So that's a fun little cool thing if you want to have it displayed certain ways. And so if you want to take it into the Back to the Future 2 look, all you simply have to do is just rip out the innards and call it done, and then you're good to go to start with starting the second one. Now, normally I don't have an issue with just you taking the old thing off and swapping it with the new thing that you want to make it look like. It's when you start asking me to take apart the old thing for a few single pieces just to throw on the new stuff, to throw it onto the new one. It's just, I just want to swap and go, you know? Like, I don't know. Little nitpick of mine, because essentially that's what this set requires you to do if you want to swap between each different movie, is that you have to swap out and take out, like, say, these pieces, or that piece, or even some of the tube pieces from the back of the vehicle. It's just, for me, it's a hassle, and I think it would have been nice if Lego charged maybe $5 more just to include a few more pieces, just so that way you wouldn't have that issue. But anyway. Now, normally you would just, once you have all these things ready, you would just smack it on there, but before you do that, I would advise caution because you still need to swap out the license plate, and that's a bit of a tedious process in itself because essentially it just requires you to rip off the entirety back of the build even more. So, in my way of doing it, you just simply remove a few of these pieces like so in order to have easier access to removing the back, and essentially, bada bing, bada boom, you got this little section out that you can use a brick separator to pop out the license plate like so. Be careful though, because you don't want to end up breaking the pieces. And that's essentially how you quickly change the license plate like so, because it just uses that window piece, which is and isn't a good idea. Anyway, let's repair this and show off what the Delorean looks like in the second movie appearance. Alright, so after doing all that pain in the neck parts transforming or whatever, you have the second movie appearance with the little Mr. Fusion thing at the top there. These are probably the smallest stickers I've ever encountered with a Lego set, so be careful when applying them because you have to apply them on either side. And it just uses the regular Lego pot piece to make up the build, and you just simply push down that Lego skeleton leg, flip it back, and inside there is a beer can. If you've watched the movie, it's essentially just a beer can that does have the little can printed tile at the top, and then it also includes a little banana, because those are the two things that were shown when it comes to the cutscene or just the after credits thing at the end of the first movie. So that's a pretty nice reference to that, and you can just simply shove those in there, and boom, you got yourself fuel for the second movie appearance. And actually, there is a hidden detail that I didn't show off earlier because of this purpose. If you flip the model upside down, you can see that there is a little red lever. So essentially, if you just push that forward, or that will make it into the flight mode. And honestly, that looks awesome, looks great. You can even have it sitting on there without it really hitting the floor too well, and spin the wheels to show that. And that's mainly due to the fact that this set has some translucent 1x2s on the bottom there to hold up the model. It doesn't do it in an annoying way, but it does it in a nice, perfect way, I would say. And one thing I do think I have as a concern for those of you who are buying this set, don't leave this set displayed like this for long, because LEGO didn't include extra elastic bands. And the thing is, with elastic bands, if you use it in the extended mode of whatever the build is, the elastic bands gets a little stretched out, and then you end up with not as cool of a model. And I think LEGO should have included an extra pair of elastics for that reason, but what can you do? So just be very cautious with that when you are purchasing and building this set. So, yeah, anyway, not much else to say about this version of the set, so let's transform it into the third movie appearance. So if you're wanting to transform this build into the third movie version, you're just going to have to essentially start with popping off all 4 wheels, because they're just connected via a Technic pin, and essentially you're wanting to grab the tires from all these. So you're going to want to have 4 tires. Okay, so once you've grabbed all 4 tires, you're going to want to take these other hub tire things that are included with the set and snap them on to the tires themselves, and you're already starting to see more and more of the look for the classic third car look. Once you have all 4 tires put on the vehicle, you're halfway done to getting it towards having the third movie look. You want to take the hood part and essentially rip it apart some more, because, you know, there's a lot of ripping apart with this set. So you just take off the sides, and then you take off half of the front, and then you want to switch these pieces around, which will expose some studs that you can use to attach the next included piece to make it part of the transformation. And it should look like this when you're done, and just simply place it down like that. And then you just grab this. You're going to have to modify it a little bit using, again, some of the parts from the first model version. And once you have that done, all you simply do is just place it on top of here, like so. You want to make sure you have that aligned evenly. And then you have the third car appearance. And unfortunately, if you're wondering, you cannot have it in the flying position, because the little tips of silver dish piece kind of rub on the bottom, and it just kind of doesn't make it look good. So I would highly advise against trying to display it like that, because it just won't work unless you're holding it, of course. But this model looks really cool overall. Definitely looks accurate in terms of the appearance of how it looks in the movie. So yeah, that's pretty much all of the combinations and details for this set. So I guess we'll have another quick look at the instructions and what else is included with this set. Taking a quick look at the instructions, at the front you have the back of the model, which shows that it's going at 88 miles per hour. Then you have the little QR code if you want to build digitally. One thing that it has at the beginning of the instructions is a foreword about the movie itself and the time machine that you can read if you want to pause the video right there. And that goes on for a few pages, giving on a few info about the set itself, along with some images from the movie. And then it just has a note from the design team itself, which is pretty cool. And throughout the build, you do have some pages that give little fun facts, so keep an eye through for those when you're building this set. But again, when it comes to getting to the back of the set, you are given the option to build one of 3 different models if you want to choose to do so. And after that, there's no really set advertisements at the back other than a feedback and win thing, as well as the parts listing, which goes on for 2 pages. And then instead of a win at the back, you have the out-of-time license plate kind of spinning with the fire trails behind it. So that's a nice little attention to detail with this pair of instructions, and it's quite a big book for instructions. If anyone was curious how big this set was compared to the size of, say, another Creator Expert vehicle, here's what it looks like compared to the size of the '89 Batmobile. In terms of extra parts, this is all that I got in my copy of the set. Overall, I think this is a spectacular set to get your hands on if you're a fan of Back to the Future. It definitely captures the essence of the build for the DeLorean, as well as just all of its appearances. The minifigures could use some work, but are great nonetheless, as I think these are probably going to be the only way we can get our hands on those two minifigures. I think the inclusion of the plaque is a nice touch as well. I'm not a huge fan of the parts swapping to make up the different looks of the different DeLoreans. I think that it would have been a more beneficial and more worth my while to have LEGO include the parts, so that way it could be just easy swappability, and I'd be willing to pay a little bit more just for that personally. But I don't know. I think besides that, it's still an amazing build. Highly recommend picking it up when you're able to. But yeah, those are more or less my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this review, consider leaving a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, hit that bell notification. It'd be very much appreciated. Check out the social media links in the description below. And yeah, again, thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll see you all in a future video. Till then, see you later.